And now, time for the Justo's Best podcast. And here's your host, Marvin, Richie, Tony, and Justo. All right, welcome to the Justo's Best podcast. I am Justo, and I am joined, as always, by my three great friends, DJ Tony Ray.
What's happening?
Richie Phillips.
Good afternoon and good morning.
And Marvin Scott.
Yo, Justo, fellas, what's going on, y'all?
You know, I enjoy seeing you guys every week. I love that we're doing this again, and one of the most exciting things about this is you guys have awesome names to like say with the announcer voice. So I love the introduction side of this.
Nice.
Well, welcome to the listeners. Welcome to you fellas. We have an awesome show planned. We have a musical guest coming on the show, and he is going to perform live for us. We do have some exclusive music to premiere. We have all of our normal segments that are jam-packed with awesome stories, so I can't wait. But first things first, gentlemen, what was the best part of your week?
Well, the best part of my week, Justo, I actually have two of them, so I apologize. One was my mother-in-law had asked me if the Badu story from last week was real, and I had to have that conversation with my mother-in-law. That, my friend, was fun in itself, telling her that yes, there is a person that has a perfume out with their southern scent. Yes, that was fun. The other one was my daughter cussed for the very first time.
Uh-oh.
She looked at me and said, "What the hell was that?"
Tony, question.
Yes.
Who did she get that word from?
More than likely, my wife would say me, but my wife actually cusses a lot.
Oh,
She does. I can vouch for that, people.
She does. She does.
So if we sent you like a Justo's Best swear jar and you implemented it in the house, you could rack up some funds.
I would lose some funds, but yes, I would rack up some funds.
Somebody would be racking up some funds.
Somebody would get some money.
Donate it all to you all, Justo's Best podcast, because I'd be donating as well. Not when the kids are around, but yes, if you know me, you know that I tend to say some colorful words.
Yes, don't we all? I think I would also be donating quite a bit if that were the case, to be honest. So, best part of my week, actually, just a lot of upgrades. I ended up buying some Bluetooth earbuds I'm really excited about. What I didn't know with these new technologies is they come with cases. You put them in the case, and the case recharges them. Really fancy. Yeah. So now I got the smart house that's like trying to seduce me like the movie. I got the earbuds going on. I'm buying new furniture. I'm getting like a coffee table and end table. So I'm trying to figure out all this stuff. Thankfully, I've been blessed to have a lot of female friends, so they're helping me out because I'm not exactly an interior decorator. So we're working on like the decor and the vibe and feng shui or whatever else that stuff is called. So it's been a pretty productive weekend in particular. So very excited.
There's no like mind of its own in the furniture though. That stuff's not smart.
No. Like the couch is not trying to touch me.
His house is not trying to kill him, Justo.
No. It's nothing like that. It's just the lights. The lights come on, and Alexa says some things to me, and Google Assistant also tries to pull some sway. Sometimes Siri. It's like a three-way fight right now. So we'll see who's going to come out on top. I haven't decided.
Got a lot of ladies in your life.
Yeah.
You do.
Note to self: for fear of robots, do not have a sleepover at Richie's.
Yeah, and I will say this: just like the ladies, all three of them are very, very bossy. So,
Marvin, what was the best part of your week, man?
Best part of my week was I had a rooftop dinner with my neighbor, and it was amazing, fellas. It was a great chance to, we've all been cooped up, so it was a great chance to get well acclimated with each other, and New York City, that's kind of a rare thing with neighbors getting along, because everybody's got a place to go, or everybody just wants to get in their apartment, want to be left alone. But I really enjoyed the conversation, and it just made me think and just made me grateful, and to just be like, wow, I wish people can experience this and not, fear being cooped up, just reach out to your friends and have that, glass of wine. It was really great. I really enjoyed that. That was my favorite part of the week.
So, question, Marvin, on this rooftop dinner, were you on the same roof, or were you shouting from roof to roof? Like you had a table set up and then they had a table set up on another roof? Or I'm just trying to picture this in my head.
She had a picnic blanket set up.
Ooh.
For the roof. She did. She did.
So we learned a lot there. We learned a lot there.
We learned a lot there, right?
Because I was going to ask a question too, but now I know there's a she and it was a picnic. But my question to you, without getting into too much detail, because again, personal life, professional in this capacity, tell us one thing about your neighbor that you didn't know that you learned.
I didn't know she was a sports fan.
Okay.
You know, I didn't know that. And you know, you fellas, folks out there, you know I love my sports. Y'all know that. You guys know
we
that.
do. And he's got a big smile right now.
When I did, you see how my face lit up. You know, I wish you folks could see it right now. My eyes lit up. Like that optical resonance. I just lit up.
Ooh,
but anyhow, yeah. I mean, anyhow, she says she loved basketball, and I don't hear that too often. You know, and it was just a conversation real quick. You know, we didn't go too in depth about players or anything, but it was just nice to see how someone was open-minded to, you know, just, you know, activities outside of, you know, the norm. And she really thought outside the box. And that's something I didn't know about her. And I was very impressed.
All right. Well, Marvin, sounds like you have a great neighbor.
Yeah.
So I would love for my neighbor to make me a picnic on a roof somewhere. That would be nice.
Right.
What does Alexa do for you, Richie?
Turns the lights on, Tony. That's about it.
They're fighting over him right now.
They are. I'd fight for Richie, so I know they're fighting.
I'd fight for you, man.
Thank you, boys.
Absolutely. I'm here with you guys. But the best part of my week, I actually got a new member to my family. So I went from a family of one to a family of two. I got a kitten. And he was the runt of the litter. So I named him Tyrion because I am a Game of Thrones fan. Oh. And he's sleeping right now, but he has been a kitten all weekend, and it's been pretty awesome. So that's the best part of my week.
That's nice, man.
You didn't name your kitten Badu?
No. I could have. I didn't think about that.
It's okay.
Now I'm second guessing. No, I went with Thierry, and I thought that was fitting.
Nice.
Well, we have one heck of a show planned for you guys. Don't go scrolling away from us now. You're listening to the Justo's Best podcast.
Yo, I'm Sahid, an artist out of Dayton, Ohio. You're about to listen to my song, All Time, right here on the Justo's Best podcast.
Your love feels like the greatest of all time. It feels like the greatest of all time. Your love feels like the greatest of all time, all time, all time. The greatest of all time. Baby, loving you is so amazing. Girl, you gotta be the greatest I ever had. Ain't gotta tell you, girl, you know you bad. Damn, baby, give it to me, I need all of that. Yeah, ballin', baby, you deserve a ring. You got something about you, baby, I ain't never seen. Baby, you are more than I could dream of. This has gotta be your real love. Your love feels like the greatest of all time, all time, all time. The greatest of all time. Armstrong, girl, you got me anywhere you want it. There will never be another like you. No, baby girl, you got it. God did a little extra when he made you. Baby, you are more than I could dream of. It's gotta be your love feels like the greatest of time, the greatest of all time. The greatest of all time. The greatest of all time.
Make sure to like or follow Justo's Best Podcast to be notified of new live shows. And if you ever miss a live show, Justo's Best Podcast can be found on YouTube, Podbean, Facebook, and iTunes.
And now, time for positive news with Justo on the Justo's Best Podcast.
That's right, folks. It is time for the Justo's Best News. I'm Justo. So, guys, I brought you a few different stories this week. There's a lot of good going on in the world, and I love to see that. So, first things first, Disneyland Paris employees reunited, 160 of them, to basically kind of how we record this, via video chat or individual videos with an editor behind them, recreate the iconic Wonderful World of Disney parade, which I've had the pleasure of seeing at Disney World. I know they do it, I think, at all the parks, but I thought that was really cool. I wanted to see what you guys thought about, park employees getting together like we are. Everybody's kind of itching.
I think it's great. I think they missed what we missed, having that camaraderie together. And it's awesome to see how people are taking amongst themselves to even, have a platform where they can express themselves and they can encourage other people to do the same thing. I think it's awesome. It brings people together, which is what we wanted to do.
Yeah, Marvin, I agree with you 100%. Actually, Disney actually has another thing that's going on where they have famous people that are singing famous Disney songs, and they're streaming that as well. So it's nice to see that they're able to release this. It gives something for the kids to watch. I know Harper loves to watch that. So we all have this built-in energy that we need to release. So it's nice to see that 160 former employees are being able to do that.
Well, I'm going to go the other way, guys. I think it's some bull crap. Clearly, they just stole it from us. Duh.
Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, yeah. In all seriousness, it's great. I mean, anytime people are trying to come together, particularly the House of Mouse, Disney itself, as Tony just alluded to, there's so many children that love it. And so anytime you have opportunities to present like performances and things of that nature, and they've done 2 live specials, as Tony was referring to, for the singing. So I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I question Ariana Grande, though, because she looked way too dolled up in her house. So somebody clearly did her makeup. So that's not really social distancing, Ariana. I think that's a little lame of you. But outside of that call out, no, it's wonderful. Disney's great. Love that they're doing it. Really cool and happy to see such positive energy from people.
It's such an awesome parade too, and it's had so many like iconic moments over the years. I know they televise, I think, during the holidays, some of that parade, and I've seen things like the little girl that was using the Force on all the bad guys of the Star Wars. I love to see that stuff, so I thought this was a cool addition to that. To me, it's always been fascinating how younger people can do tasks that we are, struggle with. If I tried to get on a skateboard right now and perform a trick, I would perform a trip to the hospital. And yeah, so this 11-year-old boy in Brazil has used quarantine to hone his skateboarding. And previously to now, the most amount of rotations a skateboarder has pulled off was a 900-degree turn. Do you guys know what skateboarder that would have been?
No.
Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk. Yeah, it's a pretty easy guess. He's kind of run the game forever. But imagine Tony Hawk right now. He's gonna have to look at this. An 11-year-old boy from Brazil just did a 1080 on his skateboard this week.
I mean, Tony Hawk retired for a reason, man. He can't do that. 1080.
That is how many turns is that? 5 turns?
That's 5 turns.
Yeah, it's a full triple rotation.
He could have been do that on his own game.
No, he couldn't. Even in the video game, he couldn't do a 1080. He was lucky to do a 900.
He'd be pulling a Justo and he'd be taking a trip to the hospital.
Absolutely.
This kid needs a video game.
Yeah, he does. Absolutely. And he's definitely going to go places. I love to see that because, especially skateboarding and those extreme sports, they've really had, for the majority of our life, a pretty awesome run.
I think it's great. It helps people find time to really balance that mind, body, and soul, really, because it's, people can't go to the gym right now and do their daily yoga, their daily, meditations during yoga classes. So I think this gives people a chance to really, cleanse the mind and, for how long this is going to last, really gives opportunity to just, hit the reset button.
Yeah. There's different meditations for anxiety, for stress, for, kids, for working, just different kinds of things. So it's nice that they're able to, send this out and give people a chance to be able to break through and relax. Because, right now, we're all, not all, but, majority of people, they're stressing about different things in their lives and the kids not having things to do. So it's something that we all can learn and be able to take something positive from. And I think it's a great story. I'm glad that they're doing it.
Yeah, I piggyback off all of them. I 1,000% agree. I think meditation is crucial. I did martial arts as a child because I used to have anger issues. And I've learned very quickly how much it can center yourself, calm you down. It's a great way to de-stress. It's a great way to get yourself in the right mode. And it's really important to find a way to understand who you are and how you want to be. I think one of the best things I love about the practice of yoga in general, which is part of meditation, is like the belief of namaste in Hinduism, which is I bow to your divine. So I'm all about it. I think it's wonderful and giving people opportunities to find ways to decompress, de-stress, or even find themselves to some level. I recommend everyone trying to do meditation in some form. I think yoga is also really helpful. It's great for you physically as well. So any way people can find a way to de-stress, hone themselves, and define who they want to be, super happy for it. It's great.
And last thing here, instead of, I'm going to replace our Today in History this week because I heard something that's just pretty awesome and I've been checking it out and I think you guys will enjoy it too. If you're running out of things to do at home, the Harry Potter, the Wizarding World company, has created this Harry Potter at Home website. So I believe all you have to do is go to harrypotterathome.com and you'll be redirected to this website. There's games on there, there's trivia on there, there's all kinds of Harry Potter content. And then one of probably the cooler things that they're offering is each week they're having a star from one of the films read a chapter of, right now they're going through Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the first book. So, and right now they've had 4 readings. They've had Daniel Radcliffe read chapter 1. Chapter 2 was read by Noma Dumaswene. Chapter 3 was read by Eddie Redmayne. And then chapter 4 was read by Stephen Fry. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. Harry Potter at Home, they're offering a lot of content, a lot of things for people to check out and kind of kill some time. What do you think, Marvin?
I mean, I think it's great for all you Harry Potter fanatics out there. I definitely would love to be hip to what all of you have been loving for all these years. And I mean, besides the first film, I thought it was awesome. But when you add a bundle like this, I think that you could probably take a lot more away from what I did from the first film, and really get like that full experience. And Tony was telling me earlier, just like Harry Potter, he hasn't seen Star Wars, so we both are at battle with each other right now on which ones we're gonna watch what first.
And the thing is, and you and I have talked about this before, it had something to do with like having to read it in school, right? We were in that age frame where this was part of our required reading.
Some of us.
You know, some of us, yeah.
I was asking for a friend.
Oh, were you? Oh, yeah.
Friend.
You don't got a lie to
Your
a
friend.
brother, man. No. But no, so like we had to read it the first time around. Then the movies came out, became an entertainment factor, less of a study project. And now, I'm kind of like you. I haven't read the books several times. I read them a few times, but this is a chance to hear them and to hear them with some familiar voices. I think it's cool. DJ Tony Ray, what do you think, man? I know you love you some Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, I love the idea. It's just like we talked about in the beginning story with Disney, how Disney has these, celebrities singing the Disney songs. Harry Potter's doing it with the actual actors that were in the movies to read the books. So it keeps it interesting. A lot of people haven't been able to read the books or watch the movies to become fans. So, it gives them a chance to kind of get integrated into that as well. So I think it's a great idea. I understand, Marvin. I understand where you're coming from about reading books, because when back in my day we had to read To Kill a Mockingbird, and I would watch that movie, or Huckleberry Finn, or The Hobbit. Did you have to read The Hobbit, Richie?
I did have to read The Hobbit.
I had to
and
read
by
all those,
far
too.
the most overrated novel I've ever encountered.
The Hobbit?
And
Even over Catcher in the Rye.
that is exactly how I felt about The Hobbit. But The Killing Mockingbird, that's a classic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Marvin.
I love that book.
Okay.
All right,
The
so
movie,
for me,
movie, I'm right there with you, Tony.
There.
Yeah.
For me, I would say the same thing. Just quick, short story. His sister-in-law, Bobby loves Harry Potter. And one of the things I love doing with her, especially in the last couple movies, is I would joke with her that the movies were better than the books, and it would just make her so angry.
Oh yeah.
So that was fun. And back to the point of what I was getting at is, for a lot of people, that if they've been introduced to Harry Potter, it's through the film, realistically. I'm not trying to imply people haven't read it, but it's through the film. And if you read these books, they're incredible, and there's so much more depth whenever you get the opportunity to read a book versus a movie. So I'm really happy that they're doing this, because hopefully it will introduce people to a lot deeper world. And if they already loved the movies, then they're going to even love more of this. Realistically, it's an incredible experience. It's such a massive universe that you haven't even gotten into 40% of if you haven't read the book. So super excited. I'm really glad these actors are engaging to that level, because they don't have to. They get nothing out of this realistically, other than the experience of contributing to some of these fans. So it's really awesome.
I just want to be a buffer on the side of reading and what you can take from that. If you're anything like me and you get that end of the week or end of the episode blues, and you're like, dang, I need another episode, you're going to get it really fast with this, because they've only got 4 chapters in. But you don't have to wait another week. You can hop right into chapter 5 and start reading it yourself. And I have a feeling you're going to want to, so definitely check it out. On the vein of Harry Potter, I thought I'd give a little trivia question this week. Get our brains working for Game of the Week segment coming up. So this one, I'm not going to ask to you guys. I'll definitely be interested in hearing your answers next week before I reveal the true answer. But I'm actually sending this one out to the listeners. So in the comment section below, tell us if you know the answer to this question. In America, we know the first Harry Potter title as The Sorcerer's Stone. What was the title of the first Harry Potter book when it was launched in the UK? Again, if you know the answer, put it in the comments below. Otherwise, that's all I got for you on Justo's Best News. Stay tuned. We have sports, we have wacky news, we have entertainment, and we have Ryan Dunlap live on the Justo's Best podcast.
Hey guys, this is Mike Riley, and you're listening to Justo's Best podcast.
And now it's time for Dad Joke of the Week with DJ Tony Ray.
Dad joke of the week. All right, guys, I got a joke for you. A pirate walks into a bar with a paper towel on his head. The bartender asks, "Hey, what's with the paper towel?" The pirate says, "Arr, I've got a bounty on my head." Dad joke of the week.
I tried.
Oh my goodness.
What's up? This is Joshua Scales. You're about to listen to my new single, Loco, on the Justo's Best podcast.
Loco. I be on go-go. Say it ain't so. My God, you should know, no. You say that's a no-no. But how do you know, though? They say I be snappy. Like I got a GoPro. I'm taking these shots, so turn up the notch. Give it what we got. Just look in my eyes, not letting you slide. I came here to rock. Let me do my job. Then we gon' go home. No wait for the phone. Just send me alone. I'll throw you a bone. But please watch your tone. They so got the throne. I'm letting you know I'm in a new mode. Keep up with the flow. I would never fold. I'm beating these souls. What I was told. I'm going for gold. I'm feeling too cold. It never gets sold. I'm doing the most. I don't mean to boast. Rappers are toast. They wanting to smoke. I hope they don't joke. Cause I ain't going loco. 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 To go crazy, was feeling too lazy, but I cannot let that happen. I cannot let them face me. So you tryna count shit, and you tryna stay asleep, but it's time to go, G. Still running at full speed, cause I got the answer. I got the real thing. I haven't set free. God is the boss. We dripping the sauce. I'm done with the old me. Just pray that you ready, cause these are the facts. I'm coming with stats. I'm not looking back. It's time to attack. My king is my dad. I'm not feeling bad. It's time that I grab. My spot is my chance. I'm doing my dance. I just had to spaz. I just got a blast. I'm coming in last. I'm pressing the gas. I'm making me laugh. You mad? That's so sad. It's how I react. I'm taking it back. You still coming for me? Where they at?
To the 30, to the 20, to the 10, he could go all the way. And now let's send it over to Marvin Scott for our Justo's Best Sports feature, The Wire.
What's happening, folks? Hot off the wire this week in sports. Steph Curry reportedly is the main reason Giannis Antetokounmpo could consider joining the Golden State Warriors. The Milwaukee Bucks can offer Antetokounmpo the Supermax extension during the offseason. However, if the Greek Freak does not sign it, then he will become an unrestricted free agent in the summer of 2021. If Giannis hits the market next summer, he will be 26. Warriors GM said it wasn't a joy when we won the 2018 title with Kevin Durant. Bob Myers sees similarities between The Last Dance, Chicago Bulls, and the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant. As the popular documentary continues to offer the behind-the-scenes look at the Bulls' 1997-98 season, the Warriors general manager highlighted the stresses of Chicago faced with tensions that built within the Golden State tenure during Durant's 3-year stint. He says, in quote, "The second time with Kevin in 2018 felt like, well, we just did what we were supposed to do, and we did a great job. I'm sure a lot of people felt differently. It wasn't anybody's fault. I think there's just a weight to everything. And I'm so sure the Bulls felt the weight of everything, the weight of relationships. Durant himself has alluded to friction between him and the rest of the squad, specifically in his season in 2018-19. So we're going to kick it around the horn with you fellas and you folks out there. Where do you guys think Giannis will end up if he doesn't sign the Supermax? Does he resign or does he ring chase? And we're going to kick it around the horn. We'll start with Tony. What you think, man?
Wow. The Greek Freak. Personally, he's to make max money, he's going to need to stay in Milwaukee, right? So that would be the smart thing to do. But if he wants to, team up, because that seems like that's the cowardice thing to do in the NBA right now is to make a 3 dream team, right? These 3 stars. So
these super teams.
So it just depends on, where he wants to go and who has the cap space for him. But to me personally, I think the Bucks would be the best place and then have people come play with him because they're really not that far away, from being a championship team with him leading the way right now. You just need to add a couple of pieces.
Richie, what you think? Super max or super team?
I mean, if it's me, super max, first of all, because it's like $45 million he'd be like throwing away at the table. And yes, to a lot of people, they're like, yeah, I would do that too. In all fairness to him, he's making so much more than just his actual contract. He has sponsorships, etc. And also, we don't know his personal life and if he's enjoying living in Milwaukee and things of that nature. It's a different society now in terms of like the players are recognizing their own strength and their own power and these dynamics of sports. So absolutely, if he's not happy, do the best for you. Kevin Durant tried that and he found out he wasn't happy there realistically. So he left again. And where do I think he'll go? That's a challenging question, if not going back to Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee is the best location for him. One, they're just really tall and long, and they play amazing defense. They have great three-point shooting. Now, it's not Golden State's three-point shooting, but they just have a really solid team. And to go to Golden State, I would not ever dare say it would be a bad move. I think it would be an incredible move. He has 2 sharpshooters. One, the best of all time, and 2, like top 3, top 4, arguably, of all time. So to go to 2 sharpshooters and have a Draymond Green, I'm just throwing him out there because people in the Bay are gonna like slaughter me if I don't. But
you better watch what you say, Richie.
Side note.
Side note. Better.
I think realistically, his best option is Milwaukee. If he does not take Milwaukee, what he really needs to do is find an incredible ball handler where it's a 1-2 punch. I think sharing the load like they did previously done, like in Golden State, wouldn't be successful either. Nothing screams off the top of my head at the moment. I would have to really think about that. But to me, Milwaukee's his best shot. He has so many incredible options with him. Their defense is number 1 and starkly by a mile. And honestly, that's what really won Golden State their championships. They had the best defense, arguably, throughout until they ran into Toronto. So yes, Kevin Durant was hurt too, but point being is defense wins championships. People keep thinking about these 3-pointers and these 3-pointers, but number 1 defense, best player in the league. Why would you leave? That's my opinion.
Okay. Justo, what do you think? Ring chase or resign?
Man, he's got to do what's best for him. That's kind of how I feel in any of the sports and any of the players when they get faced with this tough decision. What is going to benefit them the best? I've always enjoyed the big powerhouse. Back when we did the show before, we always talked about at the time we had the 3 Kings or the 4. What was it? 3 Kings. Down in Miami with the Heat.
Oh yeah,
no,
the Heatles.
It was 2. Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. Chris Bosh was trash.
And then there's Bosh.
I've
waited 9 years to do that again. No, I mean, at the end of the day, do what's best for you. I think it'd be cool to see him resign, move, whatever is best for him, and whatever is going to benefit his career going forward. So, keeping everything in mind, like Richie said, defense wins championships, and ultimately gives you more opportunity as an individual player, being on a team with good defense to perform and to do well and to put better stats up. So I'll be cliche and say, do what works out best for you, man.
I believe that works. And with the Warriors GM saying what he said, you guys are wondering to yourselves, you folks out there, when is this going to stop? Now, he said it wasn't a joy when they won the 28-10 title with Kevin Durant. Now, I want to ask you folks out there, I want to ask you guys just the final question, your final take. Do you guys think this ongoing feud is a sneak preview of what life would be like if Giannis Antetokounmpo joined this former super team?
Wow. I mean, no matter where you go in sports, you're going to have teams that have these prima donna owners, right? You got Jerry Jones, you've got Dan Snyder, or is it Steve Snyder? Who's the GM for Washington Redskins?
Dan Snyder.
You know, you had Al Davis. So, I mean, you've got these prima donna owners, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. And so if the Greek Freak was to go to the Warriors, I mean, you know what you're signing up for, basically. You got to know that up front. So, you know, it didn't work out for Kevin Durant, but it doesn't mean that it won't work out for the Greek Freak. It's however you handle it yourself. So I can't speak for him. I have to let the Greek Freak do the experience himself. But I just think, me personally, I'd stay away from it. I'd do my own thing in Milwaukee. You know, have that 1-2 punch like Richie talked about. Bring back the triangle, for God's sakes. I don't know. Let's have three pivotal points.
I like that, kicking it old school, the triangle.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Richie, what you think, man?
This is a tough one. I mean, realistically, because again, this is all conjecture. Joe Lacob, the president of the Warriors, not a fan at all. Bob Myers, I think, is a great GM. Side note. But here's my take on it. If I'm Giannis, one thing I would be hesitant to is the fact that the person Kevin was closest to on that team was Draymond Green by a mile. They've said it unequivocally. That was always the case. He wasn't really friends, with Steph and Clay. They kind of did their own thing, and honestly, those guys don't even really hang. They just do their own thing, and they treat it like a business, which there's nothing wrong with that. But my point being is, the guy who called him and asked him to come was the same guy he got into an argument with, and which led to this deterioration, and which led to all of these things. And the thing Kevin said that I think was very poignant is that he felt the organization didn't address it well, in the sense of, okay, we suspended Draymond, let's move on. And what Kevin felt would have been nice is to have the org, GM, coach, etc., talk it out with him and the players, because he felt like he was alienated in that moment. Do I think that'll necessarily happen to Giannis? No. I mean, it's hard to say. We don't know. We don't know anything. The only thing I can say is Giannis is starting to build this swagger, this attitude.
Right.
He's like adopted American culture. 3 years ago, I think Giannis leaving here, we wouldn't even be having this discussion, because he was just like a very humble person. But now he's recognizing like what he is and what he's capable of. And who knows with egos? Egos can clash. Kevin did clash. So I would say this: if he does go, there is obviously a potential for that to happen, but we don't know him as a person. We don't know the Warriors as people, so we can't know. But what we can say is, clearly there are people that don't enjoy playing there, like after the fact, and they hold it in and they stay professional. Andre Iguodala is another example. So if Giannis is considering it, that is something to consider for sure, that there is a culture here, and that there's a lot of people who don't enjoy the culture once they get to leave. Did they enjoy winning? Of course, just like anything. So I'd be careful, Giannis.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that at 26, I think he's coming into his own as a player. And I think that if he were to decide to stay in Milwaukee, it would really do wonders for his legacy, you know, from start to finish, building a championship team there. I think that if he were to go to the Warriors, like I said, I agree with you, Richie. Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo are two different people, guys. And it may work out, it may not. But I think that when you have a small market competing against a bigger market, will two MVPs in a small market be enough to stay? And I think all our eyes are going to be on Giannis to see what he does after the conclusion of this NBA season, if we do resume it. And I think he could take a few notes from Michael Jordan watching this Last Dance. You know, he stayed. And speaking of which, we're going to play a little trivia game real quick for you folks out there. And you guys, I hope you guys ready.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. Everyone knows that Hall of Fame great Michael Jordan played his college ball at North Carolina. But playing for the Tar Heels wasn't his first choice. In fact, he actually rooted for NC State while growing up. Who did his airness originally want to play for? Now I'll kick it around the horn. I'll ask you, Justo, what do you think?
Was it NC State? I'll go with NC State.
I'm gonna give you guys a little hint. I'm gonna give you folks out there a little hint. It was and still is clear cross country.
It was and still is clear cross country.
From where? From I don't know.
I mean, Justin said NC State.
Yeah, I mean, I guess yeah.
Richie, you want to give it a try now?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it a try. I got nothing, but I'm just going to go somewhere in that vicinity. It's going to be wrong. I'm just going to say the Citadel. Why not?
Citadel.
The Citadel.
Tony, you want to give it a try?
Blue Devils. I don't know.
The Blue Devils.
All right.
Well, if you folks have been wondering for the last couple minutes, MJ's first choice was UCLA. Bruins.
Wow.
The Bruins.
Not too bad for the Bruins. Never recruited Michael Jordan. And just to be clear, it wasn't too bad for the Bruins. Jordan did just fine without him. And don't panic, folks, if you missed it last night, the final episodes of The Last Dance, you can catch that on ESPN 1 and 2. And don't worry, if you missed them all, you can also catch them on ESPN 1 and 2. We're recapping all 10 episodes 24/7. That's hot off the wire this week in sports. I'm Marvin Scott.
This is Richie Phillips from East Oakland. And you're now listening to Justo's Best Podcast.
And now time for Game of the Week on the Justo's Best Podcast.
That's right, folks. It's time for Game of the Week. And fellas, I know you've been wondering what I've been up to, what I've been cooking. So we have a game here called Know Your Host. What I'm going to do, I'm going to ask 3 questions. We're going to write down our personal preference answers to these questions, okay? And then we'll send it around the horn, and you'll have to answer on behalf of one of the other co-hosts. Try to guess what they answered to these questions. Sound fun? All right, so the 3 questions are favorite eye color, jazz or rock, and favorite fast food restaurant. Okay, so that's favorite eye color, jazz or rock, or favorite fast food restaurant. Everybody got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll start. Richie, we're going to start over with you. What do you think? I'm going to give you Marvin's. You have to guess Marvin's answers as to what he answered to these questions. Up for the challenge?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So question number 1 was favorite eye color. What do you think Marvin's favorite eye color is?
Oh, am I allowed to go back in time and ask Marvin a question from earlier in the show?
DJ Tony Ray, what do you think?
Why not? Let's make it interesting.
Okay. Marvin, I gotta know. Your neighbor, what color are her eyes?
It's not.
That's cheating.
Her eyes.
You don't answer that, Marvin.
DJ Tony Ray just threw a flag, I think, over there.
He threw a flag. It's cheap. All right. I got an answer.
Okay.
I'm going to go with green. Green.
Going with green. Okay. And then now question number 2 was jazz or rock. Do you think Marvin liked jazz or rock more?
This is a tough one, but I think Marvin's very complicated. So I'm going to go with jazz. I think he's a gentleman.
Okay. And now the tough one, favorite fast food restaurant.
Yeah, see, this is tough. Tony, I can answer this for. But Marvin, we ain't never gotten fast food together, so I'm going to stick with he's a classy man. So he's a classy guy, so it's not McDonald's. I'm going to say Wendy's. They have side salads. He's an actor. He wants to stay lean, so Wendy's.
Wendy's. Okay. So Marvin, did Richie get any right? two right or all right?
He got 2 right.
He got 2 right. Which ones did he get right?
We'll take that.
He knows me. He knows me pretty well. Jazz and Wendy's.
Jazz and Wendy's.
Yeah, let's go.
What's your favorite eye color?
Hazel.
What's your neighbor's eye color?
Hazel.
Awesome. All right, DJ Tony Ray.
Yes.
We have been friends a long time, my friend. We had 3 questions. Favorite eye color? What do you think I put down there?
It was either brown or blue, so I'm gonna go with blue.
Blue, okay. And for jazz or rock?
Rock.
Rock. Okay. And favorite fast food restaurant?
Frisch's.
Frisch's. Is that because you think I'm a big boy?
No. I had Wendy's, but I'm like, nah, let's do Frisch's.
Yeah.
All right. You got one right. You did get one right. And it's eye color, blue.
Oh,
sky blue, but that's a little too specific, so I'll give blue the point.
Thank you.
Oh, going back to points, I'll give Richie got 2 right, so that's 2,500 points to Richie, and we got DJ Tony Ray got 1 right, so that's about 1.5 million, 1.5 million points over to DJ Tony Ray.
Yes.
All right. Now Marvin. DJ Tony Ray, how well do you know him?
I think I know Tony pretty well. I think I can read Tony pretty well, so I think I can fire on all cylinders on these questions here.
Okay. All right. So for the first question, favorite eye color. What do you think his favorite eye color is?
Blue.
Blue. Okay. That was pretty quick. Is that your eye color?
Is that my eye color? No.
Okay. Second question is jazz or rock? Do you think he voted jazz, or do you think he voted rock on that one?
I feel like Tony's a high energy guy, so I'm gonna say rock on this one.
Okay.
I'm gonna say rock.
And then the cliffhanger. Here, what is DJ Tony Ray's favorite fast food restaurant?
I'd have to say Tony's a Wendy's guy.
A Wendy's guy. All right, DJ Tony Ray, how'd he do?
He got 2 out of 3.
He got 2 out of 3.
Oh, man.
First game I've won in a couple weeks, folks. I'm coming back.
Yeah, I mean that.
Wait, you didn't get the points yet,
2 out of 3. 2 out of 3.
So, yeah, you're right. So I'm not coming back.
So which two did he get right?
He got the eye color, blue.
Okay.
He got the rock, because I am a rocker.
Heck yeah.
And then the last one was McDonald's, not Wendy's.
Oh, damn.
McDonald's. Yeah, mine was Taco Bell. And I like jazz music pretty heavily. But jazz and rock together create mini music, so that's a tough one. Is that everybody?
And you've got to do Richie.
You got to answer for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Richie, you answered the questions, and I got to figure out what you put down for him.
That's right.
So the first one's favorite color. Richie's favorite color. I'm going to guess green. I could even see like an emerald green. I might be really wrong, but...
Wow, you're very specific.
That you're giving me... Is that the poker face there?
Mm-hmm.
Hard to read. Okay, let's see. Jazz or rock? I think I know this, but I'm gonna go jazz, and I hope it's not wrong. And then favorite fast food restaurant? I have no idea, but I feel like it's gonna be fancy. It's not gonna be one of the big 5.
Okay.
You're not a big boy. Let's go with, is it Fusion?
Oh, okay. All right. So let's recap how many you got right there. Unfortunately, it's a big 0.
0. Dang, Reggie.
I went with Hazel for eyes.
And you would be correct. If I had gone Hazel like Marvin, I would have. Yeah. So Hazel is my favorite eye color, personally. But in all fairness to you, it was green when I was younger. So we can maybe give you half a point.
Yeah. Okay.
So Hazel for sure. I actually prefer rock to jazz now. I used to like jazz more, but I've been really listening to Muse and a lot of early 90s rock. So I would definitely say I prefer rock at this point in my life. So again, maybe another half point to give you one whole.
Okay.
Fast food, I am not as fancy as you think. My favorite fast food is Arby's. And there is not one within 60 miles of me, so I always crave Arby's. Yeah, they have
all about Arby's,
ladies and gentlemen.
Man, all right. So then the second round of points.
I should have guessed rallies.
We had so Marvin got 2 out of 3. That's gonna be good for 3.4 million points, I think. 2 out of 3. So that puts Marvin in first place, and then I got 0 correct, which means and I got a half point here, a half point there. Dang, that gets me at 1.2 million, I believe. So I think Marvin is officially our winner of Game of the Week.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering what this point system is, there isn't one. The points don't matter here. So, but yeah, that does it for Game of the Week. Stay tuned. Justo's Best Podcast.
I'm Marvin Scott III, actor, coming at you live from New York City, and you are listening to Justo's Best.
Warning. You are about to be teleported to the world of wacky news. Prepare to be wacky.
That's right, folks. It's time for Wacky News. And here's your host, DJ Tony Ray.
All right, folks. I've got headlines in 58 seconds for your wacky news. Singapore officials using robo-dogs to enforce social distancing in parks. Human urine could help make concrete on the moon, according to Space Agency. Former manager of DoD Aerospace Threat Program states UFOs are real. A man wins $1 million lottery prize twice in one day with the same numbers. A woman can't wear shoes or go for a run because of her extra long toenails. Strip club offers drive-through service during U.S. lockdown. Woman saved after breast implant deflects bullet away from her heart. News anchor allegedly caught cheating when half-naked woman walks into live shot. Tricky pencil brain teaser takes 20 seconds to solve. Question is, can you do it quicker? According to my wife, I can, and I have. And that's your 58 seconds update. So guys, I wanted to do something different this week. And I have us talk about something wacky that happened in our lives. So it's going to be our wacky story.
Okay.
I'm not going to share mine this week. I'll share it next week. I have a clean story to tell and a not so clean story to tell. And I'll leave it up to the listeners. So if you want the clean story, type the letter A, #Tony Story. Or if you want the not so clean story, type the letter B, #Tony Story in the comments below. We will tally the votes and I'll share next week. So first up for this week, we've got Richie. Richie, can you tell us your wacky story?
Well, my wacky story is actually a dirty story. Unfortunately, nobody gets to vote, so it is what it is. So my best friend Nathan, we had been best friends since we were like 5 years old, and there was like 4 of us. It was Nathan, my friend Aaron, Megan, myself. And so I was working at a golf course when I was younger. So I woke up at like 6 a.m. and I go to work. And all of a sudden, Erin calls me, and it's the night before Nathan's 18th birthday. And she's like, hey, we're planning on pranking Nathan. I need you to rob him. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, sign me up. Why not? And so anyways, I leave work, get done, and I go to his place at like 3 a.m. And so Nathan knew something was fishy. I don't know what happened. I think, because I didn't get all the details, I wasn't the master planner, FYI. So I was not the master planner. But I think someone spilled the beans in some capacity. One of his sisters kind of like made a joke, and he was like paranoid. So he's seriously like walking around his house, like ready for anything. And I had to like shimmy up into, like, climb up his house into this tiny little window because I'm like thin enough to fit through it. I fit through it, steal his car keys, have to jump back out through the window so he doesn't hear the door, right? And so I shimmy out the window, I steal his car, we take it down the street to this church parking lot, and we proceed to basically ruin all of his stuff. The girls had stolen all of his clothes. So they'd stolen everything. So basically we take petroleum jelly and we just completely cover his car. We have like saran wrap, everything, aluminum foil, the whole 9 yards. We're putting all of his clothes on this. So we didn't really think this through because we're ruining all of his clothes. All of his clothes have like jelly, gel, like this. It's disgusting. And we put it in the door handles, the whole 9 yards. We have a birthday cake. We light the cake. We call him, and I like mask my voice and tell him to come to the church parking lot. So he comes over there, and he only had like a tank top and like tighty whities on because we stole everything else. So instead of wearing the tank top, he put it on like a hat, and he was in his underwear. And just so you guys know, he's like 300 pounds. So this is a lovely sight. So he's walking over there. We're hiding in the bushes laughing, and somebody bought trick candles I didn't know. And so now the cake's on fire. His clothes are setting on fire, basically. And we take off. He's throwing the cake at us, and we drive off, and the priest comes out because he hears the calamity. And Nathan had kind of signaled a bird gesture with his hands while we're driving off, but it looks like he's sending the gesture to the priest. So somewhere in this world is a recording of all of this because his mother was in on it and she recorded the whole thing. So somewhere this recording exists, and I hope we can find it. So that's probably the wackiest thing I've ever done, I would say.
That is awesome.
That's crazy. I love it. I love it. Justo, what's your wacky story?
I don't know how to compete with that one. Well, I guess one of my wacky stories that comes to mind, I've always been hard to surprise or throw off track. I guess I set a schedule for myself and I have to keep to it. Well, there was a day that I was very busy and I had set this whole schedule. I had to work in the morning, and I had this I had to go do after work, and then I had to go get this done. So I was not thinking about anything, especially the fact that it was actually my birthday. And so my girlfriend at the time had arranged my entire family and friends and everybody to come to the apartment and set up this huge surprise party for me, but for I think it was like 3 hours. They were blowing up my phone, or she was, and I was getting mad at her. I'm like, well, hey, I've got stuff to do, okay? I'll get home when I get home. So for about 3 hours, my family and friends and my ex were all hanging out at the apartment waiting for me to finally get back. I guess that's a wacky story that comes to mind for me.
Love it. I love it. Marvin, last on the list.
Oh,
wacky
man.
Story, my friend.
These stories are hard to compete with. I wouldn't even say this is a wacky story. I mean, it was more, I ended up on the end of a tirade.
Well, let's hear it.
So here's what happened, folks out there, fellas. I was coming from the grocery store and I was walking down the street and I saw two people talking, having a conversation, normal, didn't think anything of it. So as I approach a little closer, I see the woman asks the woman in conversation, yeah, so you're Chinese, you're from China, so how exactly does that work? And it was how she said it. She had she said it in the most posh way you could think of. And as I'm walking past, I shake my head I hear the comment. I shake my head. I'm like, you know what? It sounds really racist. I can't believe this. I wanted to jump in and say something. I was like, what is happening right now? So I go visit a friend. I go talk to him for about maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I come out of the building. I come back outside. Same lady that gets asked the question comes down the street, comes up to me while she's walking the dog. She stops and she says to me, "Are you the wow head that shook your head at me earlier?" And I stood there in shock for a second, and I defended myself. I said, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to intrude on, I didn't mean to make it look like I was intruding on your conversation, but it sounds like to me like she said something racist to you, and I overheard it, and I shook my head at it." And she responded by saying, "Mind your own wow business." It doesn't matter if I'm wow Chinese. You wow piece of wow. And I snapped, fellas.
Oh man!
I snapped. Now, fellas, folks out there, I know what you're thinking. I didn't hurt anyone. I didn't touch anybody. But I retaliated. I didn't call the woman out of her name. I just said, if someone's going to say these racist things at you, and you're not going to defend yourself, why jump down the other person's throat if they're trying to help you out? Right. So that was like the wackiest thing I felt I've ever been through in this neighborhood that I currently live in New York City. Moral of the story, folks, mind your own wow.
Mind your own wow. If you're in New York City.
Well, all I got to say is wow. That's incredible. Well, thank you all for sharing. I'm glad we were able to tell some wacky stories. I know we always try to read wacky stories, but I wanted to do some headlines. So I enjoyed last week's game so much that I wanted to come up with Would You Rather. So I'm going to start it off with you, Justo, and you're going to answer, would you rather do something? So here you are.
Okay.
Would you rather be punched by Mike Tyson or bit by Mike Tyson? Well, these are wacky, by the way. These are wacky.
Whoa. Wow. Punched or bit? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see. I guess I'd rather him punch me.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Richie, would you rather be tackled by Ray Lewis or try to tackle Jerome Bettis?
I would rather try to tackle Jerome Bettis.
Fantastic imagery.
Absolutely. Marvin, would you rather ski in a bikini or high dive in a fat suit from 89 feet?
I'd rather high dive in a fat suit.
Okay. Justo, back to you.
Oh, boy.
Would you rather be in a big movie and not get paid or be in a small movie and bank?
Man. I'm going to go with big movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to make bank, but I want to be in a big movie.
There you go. I totally understand. Richie, would you rather be in 50 Shades of Grey, the movie with Betty White, or read the book out loud at a nursing home?
Read a book out loud in a nursing home, for sure.
All right. Marvin.
That's out loud.
Out loud.
Real loud.
Marvin, would you rather be R. Kelly or Bill Cosby?
My God. Is death an option?
Death is an option.
Death is an option. I'll
Death
take
is an
that one.
option. Okay.
I'll take that.
All right.
You know?
He took death.
He took death.
Suicidal all the way. Biggie Smalls. Suicidal thoughts. All day.
Justo,
Oh, I'm scared.
would you rather be chased by a cheetah in an open field or lay in a tank of leeches?
Oh man. Cheetah.
Cheetah?
He's gonna catch me.
Wow.
I'm gonna try to good kitty.
Good kitty.
Good
Good kitty. Get Erica Badu to help you out. Good kitty.
That's bad, kitty.
That's bad, kitty. Richie, would you rather be kicked by a kangaroo in the face or slapped in the face by a whale's tail?
Oh, geez. What kind of whale? Or are we not going that specific?
Sperm whale.
Dang it. See, I was like gonna go whale, and then you made it massive. I'm gonna go with the whale slap. I feel like that'd be less painful than the kangaroo kick.
Okay. Marvin, would you rather be uncaged in the water with a shark or be caged on land with a lion?
Caged on land with a lion.
Good kitty.
Like that's easier to tame.
Good kitty.
Good kitty. Last round. Justo,
Okay.
would you rather randomly time travel plus or minus 20 years every time you fart or teleport to a different part of the world on land only every time you sneeze?
So it's 20 years either back or forth. I never know. Every time I fart, or a different place in the world on land every time I sneeze.
Correct.
Yes.
Dang.
What do you do less of?
I definitely sneeze less. But that would be annoying as hell. Hey, you're watching the Justo. Hold on.
Which one, buddy?
Oh, sorry. I was sneezing away. I'm going to do sneeze for 400,
Okay.
Alex.
Sneeze. Gotcha. Richie, would you rather have skin that changes color based on your emotions or tattoos appear all over your body depicting what you did yesterday?
Oh, wow. Considering I have a job, I would definitely go with my skin changing colors and not the activities that I do as tattoos.
Gotcha. Marvin, would you rather fart during whoopee or burp while kissing?
Marvin, you fart when you're doing whoopee anyway. Take it. We all do.
Oh man, I rather burp during kissing, man, because if we both had the same thing, then she understands.
All right. Well, thanks, gents, for playing my wacky Would You Rather game. Like I said, I loved last week's game so much, I wanted to have some more fun this week. Now, for word of the week, Cali Wobbles. I'll say it again. Cali Wobbles. It is spelled COLLYWOBBLES. Cali Wobbles.
Cali.
It's a noun meaning stomach pain or queasiness. Also could be intense anxiety or nervousness, especially with stomach queasiness. So that's the word of the week. Cali Wobbles. And that, folks, is your wacky news with DJ Tony Ray.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Dunlap coming to you from Seminole, Florida, and you're listening to Justo's Best Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you, for your weekly dose of entertainment news, give it up for the one, the only, Richie Phillips.
What's up, everybody? It's Entertainment Week again, and we really want to hit a topic we did last week. It's becoming a theme at this point, but I remember Tom Cruise going off into Space Boys, and now I have some juicy gossip that's going on. There's going to be 2 Mission Impossibles being filmed back to back. One's being released 2021 of November, and the following November of 2022. So we already know clearly Mission Impossible 2022 is in space. That's obvious, right? Yeah. But here's what I want to know is, what's your take, not just on the Mission Impossible franchise hitting like movie number 7 or 8 at this point, I think, but what's your take on these ideas of making 2 films where you know there's going to be a cliffhanger style movie? Do you agree with that idea or disagree? So I'm going to lead off with Justin. What do you think?
I've actually kind of seen that firsthand. When you've got the writer and the director involved on set, and you have to decide what you're going to do with the film. You know what I mean? So they kind of have to know if they're going to do a sequel, if they want to do it right. In my opinion, you have to split that story up, just like you do a television series. They know the beginning, middle, and end for most of, like the Game of Thrones and the True Bloods and things like that. I feel like at least season by season, they know the beginning, middle, end. So I think it's a definite, as far as consistency goes and as far as how well those 2 movies will work together. I think it's better for it that way. I just think that they're going to have to come up with something to get him to space. Why is he in space? Maybe that's going to be part of the setup. But, I have hopes. I don't shy on movies having, 12 sequels or whatever it is. I'll watch them. I'll check them out. I'm a big fan of the Saw series, and I think they're 8 movies in. So, it can be done wrong. It could be done well. Wrong Turn is a good example of one that just should stop. But
fair.
I haven't hated a Mission Impossible yet. So if they want to keep putting out good movies, I'll keep watching them.
Okay. Marvin, what's your take? Actor.
Well, it sounds like it's Mission Indestructible. As many Mission Impossibles as they want to keep making. I'm like, we're at what you say, Richie, number 8?
Yeah, I believe so.
And we're at number 8. I mean, cliffhangers are great. I just feel like you should always leave the movie open to interpretation, after it's finished, and not expect and not always have a sequel or something prepared, or a movie afterward already prepared, because like Justo said, you got to get him through space. I just want to see how the story, the plot coincides with the next movie. Because the question I have now, when are, I enjoy the Mission Impossibles, but is he going to, when are we going to see this end? Are we always going to keep expecting? How long are we going to keep expecting cliffhangers? I feel, and I'm like, we just got to find a way to just find a way to wrap it up. In a way, I love it, but just after space, what can you do to top that?
Sure. That's a fair question.
What can you do after that?
I don't know. And I'm going to have a follow-up for you guys in a second. But Tony Ray, what's your take on this whole situation? Having sequels, having all these movies, blockbusters.
Oh, yeah. So I like it. Number one, the 2 movies that they're filming would be 7 and 8 because there's 6 movies already.
Yeah.
And for Mission Impossible. They did it with Harry Potter. They did it with the Deathly Hallows. They had, part 1 and part 2. So for them, they can film one big movie and, then, cut it down into 2 different parts. It's going to be interesting with the space part, and that we know it's coming. But I piggyback off of Marvin. How much is too many, or how many is too much, or whatever the saying is. But I can almost see Mission Impossible in that James Bond type of, but do you really want to see someone else play, Ethan Hunt after Tom Cruise? I mean, that's going to then, ask a question then. But for me personally, I love Mission Impossible. I love Tom Cruise. I love sequels. Beverly Hills. Sometimes they don't really do good, but most action sequels do pretty good. Bad Boys 3 just came out. I watched that. I actually enjoyed it. Is it better than the first one? Not to me, but still, I'd rather see it. But that's just my take.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I think what you just said is something to harp on, is like you have the Alex Crosses and the James Bonds, where it's like these characters that like I kind of get redone every single time with actors, and do we want that to happen with Ethan? Me personally, I don't think so. That's my perspective. But I do have another question for you guys. So here's the next question. What I want to know, based on what Marvin just said, is if we know he's going into space, and if we know that they have to get him there, my real question to you isn't about the actual movies. It's about, do you think Tom Cruise decided to go into space so he could continue filming while Corona's going on?
There's a lot of news stories surrounding the moon. Okay, so we've got confirmation that Tom Cruise is going to work with NASA and film there. We've got the full map of the moon. As Tony helped us learn earlier, you can make concrete out of pee on the moon. So, whether or not this is in response to COVID, we never had a full map before. We never made concrete blocks out of urine up there before. This could very, very well be, related to COVID. Or it could just be another Tom Cruise crazy idea. I mean, that's the draw to him. What's he gonna do next? It's like watching, the Evel Knievels and the Harry Houdinis, only the film version. Jackie Chan's another really good example. Watching his films, knowing that that's him doing what you see on screen, and that's kind of what's exciting to me about watching the movies. Like I said, they don't seem to get old for me. I could definitely see him going a James Bond route. I think I would have trouble seeing somebody else play the role. That's just a personal thing. I've always kind of struggled seeing recasting, but very possible. It could be like, hey, who knows how long COVID's going to last, so let's take the story to the moon and we'll bring it back when it's safe.
When it's safe. Marvin, a different question for you. Would you be willing to go to the moon to film a movie?
Yeah, I would. I would, because it really gets me thinking, like, how that could be done. I wouldn't jump to it impulsively. Obviously, I have to really think about it, but I'm really thinking about how cinematically, like, that would look, in theaters, how people would receive that. And it depends on the role. But if it's done safely, I wouldn't have a problem doing it. That's why I commend Tom Cruise, because the guy's highly imaginative. The guy's like a Michael Jordan-like guy of action movies. Like, he just keeps coming back, and he's got this athleticism in his movies that just you love. So I would, if it's done safely, I would do it.
Okay, fair. Tony, I got a question for you.
Alrighty.
We're kind of deviating because you brought it up.
Okay.
You got to pick. This is entertainment.
Okay.
James Bond series or Mission Impossible series?
Ooh.
Fate of the Universe.
Oh, man.
Which one you picking?
Fate of the Universe?
Yes.
Oh, I'm going Mission Impossible. Fate of the Universe.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Most of the things that you see in Mission Impossible are exactly what the title is, impossible. And he always seems to figure out a way to save the day. James Bond, he's fighting off his own demons. He's fighting off his brother and all these other things that keep popping up, rogue agents or whatever it might be. But it's Mission Impossible for the fate of the world. Now, for a movie that I'd want to go see that's action-packed,
yes,
I love Mission Impossible, but I'm so in love with the James Bond character. I like the swag. I like the things that he says and he does. I really didn't know if I'd like Daniel Craig, but I can't see anybody else being James Bond after Daniel Craig, because he totally smashed James Bond for all the actors that were James Bond, besides Sean Connery way back in the day.
Sure. Okay, follow-up question now that you just brought that up. There's been a rumor mill for a couple years on the next James Bond. Gentleman named Idris Elba.
Yes,
Would you be comfortable with him trying to replace Daniel Craig? Because it's inevitable that Daniel Craig will eventually retire from the James Bond franchise.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to happen. That would be interesting, and I'd be okay with that, but you're going to like this one better. I'd actually rather see Tom Hardy be the next James Bond.
Okay.
Me personally, just the way he looks, he already looks like that character. But Idris, sure, it's going to be knocking down a lot of doors, because that character was not written for someone that looks like Idris Elba. So, but
precisely,
anything can happen.
Here's what I will say to counter that to all the haters. James Bond is supposed to be suave and a womanizer, and who better than Idris Elba?
Absolutely.
In all seriousness, who could do that better just from the perspective of like the most handsome guy? Clearly he's the most handsome guy. Just
in that guy's voice.
That guy's voice. And he is British, because that's like rule number one. They won't hire someone who's not British. He's British. That's clearly why he's been talked about and discussed about. So interesting to see. Tony, you made a great point, because like I said, I agree with you. I didn't believe in the Daniel Craig hype. I don't know who could possibly do it at this point. I've heard the Idris Elba rumor, but it's big shoes to fill. And on to the next topic, guys and ladies and gentlemen. We have hit once again stories about the cinema and film industry. We're in a position not about NBC, Universal, and Trolls, but Disney Plus. We're going back to the House of Mouse. Now, recently, they spent $75 million buying the rights to Hamilton, which has been a craze in Broadway, been around for 5 years. $75 million for the rights for that displaying in movie theaters. So the documentary is done. It's been filmed. And what they're announcing, and I believe they announced this on May 15th. I could be wrong on the date, but I think it was May 15th. They announced that on July 3rd of this year, Hamilton will be on Disney Plus a year early than when it was going to be in the theaters. So it'll be just in time for Independence Day. Really cool timing. Really cool timing. Now, a lot of people have been discussing about why they're doing this, and a lot of people are mentioning the reality that what this could be is that Disney Plus has been kind of faltering, and they're running out of steam. Now, when it opened up, 50 million subscribers during Disney Plus first month. 50 million. Now, that current subscription has dwindled down to, I believe, 8.5 globally. But we're not sure exact numbers because Disney doesn't reveal that. They only wanted to reveal the grand opening party. But a lot of people are concerned with the library, because when you think about Disney Plus, what do you think about? All of our childhood shows that we loved, all those movies, those great movies, and now you're watching Star Wars and we're getting Marvel and we're out of content. So if you don't have a child, like for instance DJ Tony Ray, someone like us may not have the advantage to why would we continue to pay this subscription. So twofold question, take your time on these guys. First question is, what do you think about the cinemas being more receptive to a movie that they knew wouldn't drive the box office so hard, as opposed to Trolls, right? Like in terms of they're accepting it as being okay. And then two, what do you think about this in terms of the news for Disney Plus? Is this a good thing that they're eating money to deliver us content so we can feel like we're getting content, or is this a concern in the sense of, well, now they're having to throw movies into Disney Plus because they can't get actual original content and shows quick enough? So I'm going to start it off with Justo. Justo, what do you think?
Well, for starters, on the first question, I think that, yeah, the cinema, it's kind of cool of them to lay back on that and not fight for Hamilton. I think they're probably missing a button on that, though, because the show itself I have not, for people like myself, theater people that don't get to see the big shows unless they come to your city. It's cool because I get to see Hamilton now, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm a Disney kid, and I've always been, and will always probably keep, access to Disney something. I've got quite the collection myself, and I think in terms of your second question, that has a lot to do. That has a lot to do with it. People who've already built a collection of these movies. Disney is iconic, so a lot of families. I've seen the same collection. That old VHS set of all the vault and everything as that stuff came out. People swooped them up. Now, we have it at our fingertips with on demand, and I think, we may be underestimating Disney a little bit. I think this may have been something that was in the works anyhow, not just Hamilton. I think this is a response to having all of your, viewers cornered right now, a great opportunity to get another influx of subscriptions. But I think that there's probably a game plan, knowing Disney, they've always been on top of their game. They kind of corner the market all over the place. They own ESPN, they own all these other conglomerates, and they're very good with their planning. So I think it's to be expected. You put all this good stuff on there in one place. Sure, not everybody's watched everything on there. I don't think Disney Plus has been out long enough to check all that stuff out. But as far as the content that is there and how much we've seen it over the years and how much of a replay capability the app has, I agree with you on that standpoint that. Yeah, they're going to need something fresh. Now, Hamilton being such an awesome show, Lin-Manuel Miranda being such an incredible actor, writer, director, and having already established a little bit of a relationship with Disney, I'm more so excited to see where this takes him and the relationship with Disney, if that makes sense. Moana was awesome, and he wrote a lot of the music for that, and he voiced characters in that, and so I think it's cool across the board. I think, one, it's exciting for people to get a chance to watch a really awesome musical and step out of their comfort zone and not watch it because it's theater. You know what I mean? A lot of people give theater a bad rep, but look across the board at your favorite actors. I bet you, most of them started in a theater somewhere, and it's an awesome experience. It's a beautiful show, some great music, and I can't wait to see it. And I think Disney's doing an awesome thing by bringing it out early for us.
Yeah, just to quickly echo off of you, as I mentioned before, I did see Hamilton live, and it was probably, outside of The Lion King, my favorite one I'd ever seen. It was just incredible experience. And again, Lion King also, there's that favoritism. I was, 12 years old, and that was my favorite movie of all time. So to put it up against that is how great this really is. And I implore all of you to check that out once it comes out July 3rd on Disney Plus. But Marvin, what's your take?
I have to agree with you, fellas. I'd say at the beginning, Disney Plus, like you said, Tony, had 50 million subscribers. And now they're at a point where they have to seize the opportunity to get more of an influx of people to watch content. And I think that being from a small town like myself, like Justo, you guys, I think I love theater, and acting in plays has been amazing. But I think that people, like you said, Richie, people want to, I want people to share I want people to have that experience you did, up close and personal in their living rooms watching, Hamilton. Because I think that ultimately, I think Broadway is going to find a way to get more of a production and an influx of shows, and they're going to work with Disney. And I would like to see a co-collaboration with each other in the cinemas, especially now. Disney has all this great content for years, and now, when you watch Disney Plus, I know for myself, I got a little burned out. So I think that it would be refreshing to watch a musical on Disney Plus, and for everyone to experience, what you experienced, Richie.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. It's just the exposure to having plays and like getting to see them, because one of the inhibiting costs for a lot of people is how expensive it is.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to sit here and discuss about how much I paid, but I paid a lot of money. Whereas, like, you know, for Disney Plus, a lot of people will have this opportunity. And let me clarify something when I say about I paid a lot of money. I paid a lot of money because there's damn sure a lot of people who work their butts off to make that play happen. It was worth it.
Absolutely.
And they deserve it. Let me clarify that, people. That's not what I meant. But it's an experience for you that you'll be able to experience at such a great price. So I'm super hopeful, Marvin. I didn't even think of it from your perspective in the sense of maybe this will be an exposure, an opportunity to see plays more often. So Tony, what do you think?
I mean, I agree with what you and Marvin were talking about. You know, a lot of people don't get the privy to be able to see something such as the magnitude of Hamilton. And, you know, if you remember Cats, when it came back out in the 1980s, they didn't even make a movie till 1998. So, you know, you went this long period of time without even being able to see how magnificent live performances really can be. So I commend Disney for letting us be able to see Hamilton. I have no problem with it. I love it.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm super hopeful. I wasn't as hopeful until you guys kind of convinced me, because I was more thinking about, oh no, Disney Plus is doing a little poor and they need to make something happen. But hearing these perspectives, I'm totally on board, and I'm very hopeful that we'll get to see a lot more Broadway and play and live performances. It'll be something incredible. And on that note, I have Song of the Week. It was actually inspired by Justo. I had one originally, but after talking about my rock versus jazz situation, I think I'm going to switch it up.
Okay.
So my Song of the Week is from Muse, Knights of Sidonia. Check it out if you haven't heard it. It is a banger. And that's going to do it for entertainment this week.
That's right, folks. It's now time for the Artist Spotlight on Justo's Best podcast. Welcome back to Justo's Best. This is the Artist Spotlight, joined in the studio with Singer Songwriter Ryan Dunlap out of Seminole, Florida. What's going on, Ryan?
What's up, y'all?
How you doing, man?
Oh, you know, just living the Rona life.
Yeah, it's got everybody doing things a little differently. Well, Ryan, I'm in here in the studio with probably a couple familiar faces: DJ Tony Ray, Richie Phillips, and Marvin Scott.
How you doing, Ryan?
Woo.
What's happening, Ryan? Great to have you on the show, brother.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, Ryan and I went to high school together, class of 2004.
Oh, man.
You're dating us. Don't do that.
Oh, my bad.
Seems like only yesterday.
Yeah, I'm old. Come on.
For sure.
So Ryan, how long have you been writing music and playing music?
Well, I got a guitar the senior year that Tony was just talking about. So it would have been like 2003 probably, and then I didn't start playing it until like the springish, end of winter, spring. We got one of those terribly long snowstorms where we couldn't leave our house for like 4 days, and I just picked it up finally, like it had been sitting in a corner. So yeah, a long time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Performing, probably started doing that like 3 or 4 years after I got that, like 2008 maybe.
Awesome,
man. Yeah, it's crazy how being forced to be home brings out the creativity and gives you nothing else to do, so you're like, all right, well, let's focus on something. And
I mean, I've been thinking about it so much during all of this, because that was me with like, seriously, it was like 4 days we had one of those blizzards where they're like, you just can't really leave, and that was 4 days that I kind of picked it up. I never put it down. What are kids doing right now with 2 months of time?
2 months, yeah. Imagine that.
Building robots and things.
Yeah, Ryan. So I know you've been living the Rona life, man. You kind of cooped up inside. What do you miss the most about performing live for the people, man?
Oh man, aside from like having an income,
I feel you, man.
That's valid.
Very valid.
Oh man, just that feedback. Like even like we're all of us musicians are doing the Facebook Live thing and stuff, and that's cool and that's been great. And it's nice to have some income because of that. but it's not the same. It's not that feeling when you hit something right. You can just hear people go, "Ooh, all right, what's going on up there?" And hearing actual applause, not an emoji. I'd say that's what I miss the most. Just that actual like feeling of like feeling the audience be there.
Yeah, that supportive feedback, man. I know what you mean, man.
Sure.
Ryan, I got a couple questions now. Before I get into anything too serious, what's your favorite emoji when you're doing a live performance?
My favorite emoji? Oh, man. I mean, you can never go wrong with like the heart eyes. You know you're doing something right.
Heart eyes. All right, serious question, Ryan. Where do you draw your influences when you're writing your songs?
For me, just anything, whatever's kind of happening, whether it be with a girl, whether it be somebody passing away, whether just whatever's going on. I started this kind of because I started writing. My dad passed away when I was 15, and that was kind of like a therapeutic thing, was to start writing. And that's kind of how I started picking up music in general. Is someone was like, "You sing pretty good, man, so why don't you play guitar? You're always writing all that shit." So that's kind of what happened.
Nice. So you take real life stories. Got it. So
Yeah,
are we going to
man.
be hearing a Rona story? Do we get a Rona song someday?
Man, we might be able to even do that this day. That could be a thing that we do. I'm working on a new business right now where we write songs for other people. So maybe we can have you guys throw me some stuff and we'll do something like that for my live.
All right. That sounds awesome, Ryan.
So Ryan, what musicians out there today do you look at? Do you get inspiration from?
Oh, I mean, I'm always going to be a huge Dave Matthews guy. That's like, I've seen that band 1,000 times and I love them. John Mayer guy. People that are coming out currently new. I'm really, if you haven't checked out Rustin Kelly, he's amazing. His songwriting just like blows my mind. He actually just did a covers album of old songs that we loved growing up and stuff, and Taylor Swift song actually too, that he calls dirt emo, which is just acoustic but singing those kind of songs, I guess.
Okay,
check that
awesome. I'll definitely check that out. All right, Ryan, here's a wacky question for you. If you had any superhero powers, what would they be and why?
Oh man, I'm just lame, I guess. I just want to fly.
Hey,
like who doesn't want to fly?
All right, so Ryan, we're going to be debuting one of your songs here on Justo's Best. The song is called "Get You Through." Could you tell us a little bit about the track there?
Well, this is actually an older tune for me, but it just seemed like a good one for what's going on in these Rona times, if you will. It's kind of a song about things not always going your way, and the world definitely doesn't really give a damn. Like, you've got to figure it out. It's going to keep going regardless of what's happening to you, so do whatever gets you through.
Absolutely. This is "Get You Through" by Ryan Dunlap here on the Justo's Best podcast. Don't go anywhere.
I'm just an outlaw, ain't got no wheels to run. Fatherless man and a mama's only son. Joker turned toker, a bully without a gun. Still shoot for the top, but the top don't ever come. The world don't spin for you. Do what you gotta do, whatever gets you through. Whatever gets you through.
most ever have. Held the hand of a man, watched him take his final breath. Gambled my life, found out that's something you shouldn't bear. Stared death in the eye, said, I'm not leaving just yet. The world don't spin for you. Do what you gotta do, whatever gets you through. Whatever gets you through. The world don't spin for you. Do what you gotta do, whatever gets you through. Whatever gets you through. Whatever gets you through.
All right, Get You Through by Ryan Dunlap here on the Just Those Best podcast. Ryan, that song is awesome. We had it on the show last week, and I've actually got some friends that were hanging out with me when we were doing some outdoor work, and I was playing the show, and they're like, "Who is that?" That song, it's uplifting. It's very chill. I love that, man.
It's really uplifting, man.
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of one of those songs I could see like playing in one of those movies to like get the movie started, but it's like one of those dramatic drama type movies to kind of get you going, real positive, get you. But yeah, it was really awesome. Fun fact, this is for you, Justo. When we had our radio show back at Wright State, Ryan actually messaged me and I messaged him, and we were actually trying to get him to come on the show then.
That's true.
But it didn't work out.
Oh,
but
wow.
I'm glad we were able to get him on now.
Yeah, all these years later, man.
Absolutely.
Well,
full circle.
I will say we have greatly expedited our booking process. It no longer takes 9 years to get on the show.
We've expedited.
We
that.
apologize for that lapse, Ryan.
Yeah,
it's all good, y'all.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Ryan, you were telling us a little bit about a new endeavor that you've kind of set out on, and you were wanting to kind of debut that a little bit with us on the live performance here.
Yeah, man. It's called Here's a Song for That, and you can check that out on Facebook at Here's a Song for That. And basically the idea is anything that you want me to write you a song about, whether it be a graduation, a wedding, you just want to tell someone you love them. I had somebody that she just missed her sister. She's over in Germany right now. She's in the armed forces and she can't get home because of all this. And she's like, I just want something to let my sister know I miss her. So we wrote a song for that. I had a guy that he's like, I want you to write a pre-apology to my wife for when I'm an idiot and do things that piss her off. So we wrote a song for that.
Nice.
I'm going to need that copy.
And that all stemmed from an idea of my live shows when I'm playing at bars and stuff. We'll do a game where we'll say, hey, throw us out like 5-10 words and I'll put them in a song. So I thought today, if you guys want to all give me a word or a phrase or something about the coronavirus, we'll take all of that and we'll throw it in, or something that's affected you over this last couple months. And we'll do a quick little one on the fly for you.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
We'll try to remember all of the words too. That's always the struggle.
Let's see. I'm going to go with face masks. I guess that's 2 words with a hyphen.
You're the host of the show, man. I think we can allow it.
Oh, okay. Whew. I get a host pass. Marvin, what word do you want to throw in the song?
Hope.
That's a good one.
Go in a different direction with that.
He did. He went a very different direction. I like it.
What about you, Richie?
Nature.
Mm-hmm. I see DJ Tony Ray's got his thinking face on.
Don't you say toilet paper.
Oh, no.
He's been doing toilet paper every week.
Let's go with furlough.
Furlough. Can we get a number between 0 and 6?
Let's go with 4. There's 4 hosts. We'll go
4.
That makes sense. 4.
I can't find my
Okay, go on the old 4. Well, this furlough's finally lapsed. Gotta give myself a face mask. Unemployment never lasts till the economy back. Well, I got a little hope to get it, and I know I'm never quitting. Everything is fine, I said it's gonna pass. Oh, Corona coming later, it's a human own in nature. Breaking off and taking a piece of life. I can't believe it coming from, I wanna stay strong. That COVID one, I gotta feel too fine. Said, gonna feel too fine. Heard words about toilet paper, not gonna leave for near for later. And I wanna get up, but the meat's expensive, can't get running. I think I ought to breathe, got a little milk and I wanna lease. And I know what I don't need, a COVID will not come for me. Said, only let it go. I got lost in this world, so I don't know. Might be the fever strong. Thank God you guys are at home. Oh, oh, oh. So when we would do your real song, we'd have a little more, I guess, style in there. But that's the idea for you. We got all of your words in there. I did.
No, that was a real song, right?
Yeah, man, that was awesome.
That was great, man. That was great. Very innovative, dude.
Thanks,
What's
man.
so crazy for me is that it's all on the spot. You know, we gave him those words just a few minutes ago, and that sounds like something that was in the works for a while. But you know, that's
Andy
awesome.
threw in toilet paper.
Get toilet paper in there.
Yeah,
That was a nice touch.
One for me.
Well, Ryan, we definitely appreciate you coming out to Justo's Best. We hope we can have you back. We hope that you can get back out on the stage and get those live reactions and not have to look at the emojis for too much longer.
Right. Thanks, guys.
That was Ryan Dunlap for the Artist Spotlight. You're listening to the Justo's Best podcast. Don't scroll away just yet. We got final thoughts coming up.
This is Ryan Dunlap here. Just wanted to remind you guys to swing by facebook.com/here's a song for that if you're interested in having a song written for you. Also check out Ryan Dunlap Music on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget to check out Justo's Best Podcast, and we'll see you around.
All right, it is that time of the week where we say see you later, but not before we pass it around the horn and give our final thoughts.
I want to thank everyone for listening to this week's show. I want to thank you fellas. It's always a joy to come and do this every Sunday with you guys. And you guys take time out of your schedule to listen to us. Definitely much appreciated. And I just want to, tell everyone, like last week, continue to reach out to your friends, find hobbies, and overall find ways to increase your happiness, guys. Be productive. reset your mind, get those meditations in that Justo was talking about earlier. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys next week.
Well, I'd like to piggyback and say thank you to all the listeners as well. Pretty much thank you to the three gentlemen that I get to spend Sunday with. Thank you to my wife, who gets to entertain the children while I can be up here making this experience happen. So thank you to my wife as well. And then I want to leave you all with a quote for quote of the week. One small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. So stay positive, be positive, act positive, and you'll get positivity in return. DJ Tony Ray, out.
All right, that's awesome, man. Richie?
He was well prepared.
Yeah.
I'm not as prepared as that, but what I do want to say is, echoing off these gentlemen, thank you to the audience, and thank you to you guys. I really do appreciate getting to come in here every single week and have some fun with you. Buying equipment that doesn't work, apparently. Things like that. No big deal. So, Smart House getting bigger. What I do have to say as well is something similar that I think everyone should really focus on, especially during the pandemic. Communicate with people. Ask yourself if what you're doing today is getting you closer to where you want to be tomorrow. I think it's super important, even if you're setting a small goal, to do something and be productive. Find a way to entertain yourself. Find a way to learn something. I mean, even with our guest today, like, look what happened. He was able to play the guitar during a snowstorm. Look where he's at now. You never know what's going to happen in life. So on that note, we're going to go back to the meditation, and I'm just going to say namaste.
Just to kind of tag on to what you guys said, I want everybody to be positive moving forward. Find that little thing that makes you happy every day. Also, I challenge you to utilize this time. I know we're getting cabin fever. We're all locked in, but use this time to hone your craft, or to find a new craft, to find a new talent, or revisit an old one and soar with it. I'd also like to thank Ryan Dunlap for coming on the show and sharing his art with us. Beautiful music, man, and I hope to have you back on the show. Make sure you check out Artist Spotlight again next week. We have comedian Tony Watson joining us, so that'll be a lot of fun. Also, we'll have brand new stories for you and new jokes and a brand new game of the week, so make sure you check us out. And as always, live, laugh, love like it's your last. This has been the Justo's Best Podcast. You guys have a great week. This has been a Justo's Best production.